Most of my time is focused on long-term vision marketing. I'm doing maybe a couple hours of escalated work, legal work throughout the week.
You had monthly revenues about 46,000 in February 2025 to 210,000 in January 2026. Brother,
I never thought I would be an entrepreneur. I'm the black sheep here. Everyone else loves to argue. I hate to argue. I started my business with like an ounce of confidence in what I was doing.
And, there's people out there watching YouTube videos and consuming a lot of content. And, obviously we appreciate the audience for consuming that content, but we got to be honest with people, right? That's not where the results are. The results are by taking action. If you talk to people, you notice it, that they may be in careers that seem fine, seem good, but they just feel deadening. They have trouble, not cannot, but they have trouble with the fact that what others will think of them. That judgment factor, holds them back. What if I screw up? What if I do? What if is just a protection mechanism from their childhood. It's just some trait that they picked up on the schoolyard that is not allowing them. That's all. It's actually not a big deal.
Really good coaches is they can create a safe space to have that conversation with you, to go back to that childhood and figure out what that trauma is.
No judgment.
And for me, it was like, I don't feel safe. When you're thinking about safety, you're being selfish. Okay. Anytime that I am kind of hesitating around this, I'm doing it really selfishly because of how it could impact me.
I can relate to you about the anxiety. When COVID came to us, it caused a severe anxiety. My business fell apart and everything. So I had a panic attack like you, anxiety attack, a really serious one where I couldn't breathe. Actually, physically, I could not breathe. It felt like I was breathing through a straw, right? It was really difficult. Then I had another breakdown. I started crying one day at home. I just started bawling, and something came within me to open the computer and type in mindset. Something drove me to do that. My mom passed away recently, everything. I couldn't even cry because I knew that it was normal. It's just a understanding. I guess you could say that the more you remain in the present moment, more you become understanding for this reality and for this life, that the good and bad just start kind of molding into as one, as a neutral state, if that makes sense.
My success is inevitable, and I'm either like aligned with that success as it's happening, or I'm experiencing what I need to experience to get to that journey of that inevitable success. No matter what, everything's going to be okay.
Yes, sir.
One of my coaches likes to talk about when you're performing in business, are you doing it in a way where you're on the field or are you in the stands?
Welcome back to Super Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm your host, Shahid Durrani. Today we have with us Joey Vitale. Joey is a global speaker and award-winning trademark attorney. So I'm excited to talk to him today and help you guys see what he has created. So thank you for coming on our show, Joey.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Shahid.
Oh, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. I know you must be busy. I'm grateful to have you on the show here. First question that comes to mind is I was told by another attorney, a trademark attorney, that the word super cannot be trademarked. Is that true? Yes or no? Because it's used like all the time, right? Everywhere.
So what's so weird about trademarks is there's an exception to every rule.
Okay.
And the deeper you get in the rabbit hole of things, the more interesting things get. And so, yes, there probably is a way to trademark the word super if you're thoughtful about it. And maybe we can dive into those details today.
Yeah.
But I want to call something out today at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how much we're going to be talking about trademarks in the legal side today and not just kind of entrepreneurship in general. But when we do go down any legal rabbit holes, I hope that it inspires action from you guys, because we can talk theories and what ifs and hypotheticals all day. We were talking about this before we went live. Learn enough that you need to take that next action, that next step, that next action. And I hope that this conversation today fuels some momentum on and all of you that are listening.
Yes, Joey. Thank you so much for sharing that. But long lasting, right? Long lasting momentum. And also, finding out what may be stopping someone from not taking action, because we have these blockages, if you may say, like in our nervous system, for example, or subconscious, that even though we consciously want to do a lot of things, and everybody does, there's something that holds them back, right? Maybe we can touch upon that too as we speak.
Absolutely. Would love to.
Yeah. So you recently shared that you had monthly revenues about 46,000 in February 2025 to 210,000 in January 2026. Brother, lovely. So Indie Law, that's your firm. Can you share what are you most proud of in the business today from seeing that scale?
Well, I have to hand it to my team. I could not be where I am right now and have the revenues that we're experiencing without a really stellar team that is making sure that all of the clients and people in our network that are signing up with us, that are becoming referral partners, that we are going above and beyond and meeting their high standards. At the end of the day, I am on a mission to create the most effortless law firm that a business could work with, because trademarks are so complicated. And yes, we want to do a good job, but we also just want to make it feel as simple as we can. And I cannot do that alone.
So how involved are you in the operations?
Well, most of my involvement these days is with like leadership and escalated issues. So we have a team of about 20. Most of them are overseas teammates that have been with us for years. And we have things set up so that various team members are working on similar files, have coverage for each other, so that if anyone goes out of office, someone else that's not me can step in and make sure that our clients are taken care of. We have a leadership team in place. So I'm leading that leadership team throughout the week. I'm doing maybe a couple hours of escalated work, legal work throughout the week, maybe hopping on a call with the client or two a week. And most of my time is focused on long-term vision, marketing, and figuring out
fun
what we want
like
the
this
to look like. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's great. So that being said, what percentage of your business is driven by AI as of today?
That is a really interesting question.
Yeah.
What percentage of AI is driven by our business? Well, I think of a few different ways to answer that question. So we are getting a growing number of people that are finding us through ChatGPT search and using AI to search for a trademark attorney. And so that percentage is growing. Also, our team's use of AI is growing like crazy. We're continuing to lean into it. I know that there were some initial fears about AI and what it could take away and the possible risks. I don't think that our team and our industry is anywhere near those limits yet. If anything, it's just making it easier and more fun for our team to do what we love doing and a better client experience.
So what in ChatGPT, you mentioned that you're showing up in searches. Are you doing anything on purpose or deliberately to be coming up for people? Or is it just the fact that you have so much, content out there, maybe blogs out there, or you have content that you specialize in speaking about trademarks that are getting noticed by ChatGPT, like Reddit, for example?
Yeah. So I had a great conversation last year with an expert on SEO who is one of the top agency owners of SEO companies that work with like 8 to 10 figure law firms. I met him at a conference and I was like, hey, one day I would love to hire you. And I since have hired him to help me with SEO. But I said, if we want to get better at AI, what can we do to get found there more? And he said, AI exists on top of SEO. So the stronger we make your SEO, the more you'll
Okay.
get found through any AI.
Okay.
And so that's really been our strategy.
Good. Wonderful. So if we can take you back to the person you were, going into law school and then slowly realizing that this may not be a fit or you need to do something different, for example, niching down. What was going on inside of you then?
Oh man. Well, I don't know how common this is with your audience, but I never thought I would be an entrepreneur. It wasn't even on my
Are your parents
idea
in business or they're lawyers as well?
So I'm the first lawyer in the family. My dad, he's in the construction industry. I've always thought of him as more of a, like, being in the family business.
Yeah.
But now that I'm an entrepreneur myself, I see those entrepreneurial tendencies in him.
Yeah.
But I went to law school because I didn't know what else to do after college. And people recommended that I go to because it was a safe next step. And then I got to law school and realized, oh, I'm the black sheep here. Everyone else loves to argue. I hate to argue. Did I pick the wrong school?
Yeah.
And after 2 years of really struggling at a litigation courtroom-based law firm, I realized, you know what? This is just really not tapping into any strengths that I have. And I built up some great mentors, and they gave me some confidence to go out on my own and try this business law thing. And like you said, with niching down, my first ideal client that came to me was grandmas on Etsy. So this was about 8-9 years ago. Facebook isn't what it is today, but there were a few Facebook groups for Etsy owners, and because it wasn't
which owners?
Again, Etsy.
Oh, Etsy. Yes.
Yeah. So all of these like artisan makers.
Yeah.
And there were only a few Facebook groups, but they had thousands of members in them. And I kind of networked my way into being the expert in these Facebook groups that could help them with their legal stuff. And so they were my first niche, and they were fantastic to work with. And as a lawyer, I did everything for them, from contract drafting to creating LLCs for them to copyright concerns. But after the first year of working with them, I realized that out of all of the things that I could do for them, trademarks were the number one thing that they didn't think to ask for, and then bit them in the butt later. So we decided to kind of tweak our niche from this business law for makers to a trademark law firm for all types of businesses.
Well, that was great. It was something that you researched, or was it just happened that way? The whole idea.
I mean, I guess you could call it research. What it really was just talking to more and more people and getting a sense of what their problems were. Okay. And I think at the end of the day, as entrepreneurs,
we solve problems.
All we have to do is solve problems.
Yeah, that's so true. If you really want to dumb it down, that's what it is. And really, we can make life so much more wonderful if we do simplify things and not take life so easily, serious, right?
Totally.
Yeah. Have you worked on your mindset before?
Oh my gosh.
You said you have a lot of mentors. Do you have a mentor for mindset, like internal world stuff?
Every day. Yes.
Wonderful.
I have so many different coaches and experts that I have kind of put on my shoulders over the years, and they all are big kind of mindset gurus that I love working with. I think that my primary kind of mindset coach is James Wedmore. I don't know if you've heard of him.
No.
He's got a great podcast called Mind Your Business.
Oh, yeah. I heard of Mind Your Business. Yes.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I've learned so much from him.
That's wonderful.
Of like how can all business owners think about their futures in their business as my success is inevitable.
Yeah.
And I'm either like aligned with that success as it's happening, or I'm experiencing what I need to experience to get to that journey of that inevitable success.
That's so great. I want to ask this question about the percentage again. What percentage of your success would you say that mentors had in your life, not mindset, but overall, all the different mentors?
I mean, a part of me wants to say all of it.
Yeah.
Because here's why.
Yeah.
I started my business with like an ounce of confidence in what I was doing.
Yeah.
I went to law school, really felt like, oh man, this is not the right industry for me. And because others believed in me, that gave me the confidence to get what I was reaching for. And I don't want to make judgments on like different types of business success and revenue levels and profit, but I will say this. Every time I have unlocked some type of a successful milestone in business, whether it was, recently hitting 200K months or getting my first client back in the day, all of those different wins helped me. And usually I was working with a coach or a mentor at the time, helped me see that I can celebrate that win and see this new level of possibility. And so much of the success for me has been getting to a certain point and then realizing, oh, I can do more with this. For several years, I was floating around like mid 6-figure levels in revenue for the firm. And I was happy there. I mean, I was taking home good money. Our team was doing a good job. We were making a good impact. And then I had a couple of really big name clients work with us. And after a few months, they called me and they said, Joey, you can do whatever with your business and it looks like you're happy. But just so you know, we've worked with hundreds of law firms. If you wanted to, your business could be 20 times the size as it is now because of the foundation that you already have in place. And I didn't start wanting that for myself until I heard others kind of see it in me.
It's so true. It's so true. It makes a huge difference from someone that is cheering you on or just being on your side to kind of guide you in the direction you need to go because they have already been there. So it's much easier. Right. And, there's people out there watching YouTube videos and consuming a lot of content. And, obviously we appreciate the audience for consuming that content. I love the fact that you're out there doing that, right? Obviously, but we got to be honest with people, right? That's not where the results are. The results are by taking action. And like you said, you defined it so clearly that mentorship changes lives. I'm not talking about myself. I'm just talking about in general in every area that if you're feeling stuck, work with someone that can help you get unstuck. And then then you're trying to figure out what to do, then work with someone that has something that you would like to do and then get them to guide you in that direction. So step by step, just like you did it, it is possible, but consuming content without direction is just endless, right?
Very well said.
Yeah. So a lot of people in the audience, obviously, not obviously, but you would say, if you talk to people, you notice it, that they may be in careers that seem fine, seem good, but they just feel deadening. They just feel like it's not going anywhere. And you also left the legal field entirely, right? So what was it like emotionally, internally? Because that's the driving force behind the human being is what's going on internally. So what happened emotionally before you found your way?
Oh man. Well, there was a lot of identity crisis that I went through as I was switching from courtroom litigation to this new area of business law that was brand new to me. But number one, I have like the best wife ever. So had so much support and that was great. And family in general has been super, super supportive. Also, one thing that I love about entrepreneurship is when you do start taking action, especially on the marketing side, when you do hop on social and put out a post or do a live stream or do something, you start to get a sense of those people that are not only rooting for you, but that are needing your services. And I think it's it's really beautiful that, especially when you're first starting out, most of the leads and customers or clients that you're going to get are through referrals.
Yeah.
Because I think what's great about starting an entrepreneurship is, before you get to, ads and cold leads and all this kind of traffic and numbers, usually it's just a lot of human beings that you can get to interact with. And again, it goes back to solving problems. So either you've gotten your kind of offer and messaging right, and you're hearing people that want what you offer, or you're getting another great thing, which is people saying that they don't want what it is that you have to offer, which means, okay, great, I can stop pushing that type of content out and shift to something else that that gets to the heart of a real problem.
Always be shifting.
They want. Yeah.
Right? Always be experimenting. Yeah. So you mentioned something important about, doing lives or getting out there, putting the content, making videos. In my experience, what I notice from the people that I speak to is that they cannot, they have trouble, but they have trouble with the fact that they keep thinking or feeling what others will think of them. That judgment factor, holds them back by even doing a live or even putting out even one piece of content or even going after their goal or their desire. If they're working 9 to 5, for example, and they want to do something, they're really passionate about it. They're so excited and they have those moments of excitement. But when the time comes to actually do it, the visions of all the people they love and are part of their life, they start feeling, what are these people going to think of me? What if I make a mistake? What if I screw up? What if I do? What if? I found that it holds people back in a big way. And people don't realize that it's just a protection mechanism from their childhood. It's just some trait that they picked up on the schoolyard that is not allowing them. That's all. It's actually not a big deal. You just have to find out where, at what time, and when it started developing, and build that relationship, with the younger self, and release it, right? And kind of calm those nerves from that time, because those nerves are still in force as an adult and hold us back. I had so much trouble with this, Joey. Honestly, like for me, it was always people, what is this person going to think? What is this person going to think? And it was really, really hard until I found out this, not a secret. Obviously, psychologists talk about this, but it's just something that I went all in and I started practicing and started doing. Is when I realized the truth, when I realized, wow, this is what's holding people back. It's so simple. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Back to mentors and coaches. One of the things that I love about really good coaches is they can create a safe space to have that conversation with you, to go back to that childhood and figure out what that trauma is.
No judgment.
And no judgment. Yeah. And not all trauma looks the same. No. And so really good coaches are really good at figuring out, okay, instead of just speaking in generalities like you can do it or whatever, like let me get to the heart of what I'm seeing here that can help you shift beliefs and start taking action. And I don't want to speak for others, but what's really helpful for me when I was initially going through those things was talking with the coach, learning about that baggage that I carried. And at the end of the day, for me, it was like, I don't feel safe, right? Like what could the negative consequences be?
That's so true.
Yeah. And what was helpful for me to hear was, Joey, when you're thinking about safety, you're being selfish. And if you want to be of service to the people that you want to help, you have to put that to the side. And that flipped a switch for me because that made me think, okay, anytime that I am kind of hesitating around this, I'm doing it really selfishly because of how it could impact me, versus what is the risk of a business owner not seeing that post or hearing me go live and talk about something, and then their brand being exposed and that leading to really negative consequences.
One point I would like to make about the safety part, I find that, and it's very common, right, to bring that thought pattern to say, you know, don't be selfish, right? It's important, and it's very important to change the way you think of things, your perception, and, you know, look at other people, what they need is of crucial importance. But as the individual, if we try to, you can share your experience, how it was, but I found that if we try to do it that way, it's a lot more difficult. I find that safety is part of our nervous system. So when we work on that aspect of us, when we work on that, we can inject safety as an adult in our nervous system, where all that you were talking about just becomes natural instead of fighting and trying to change it through thoughts.
Yeah, safety is a weird thing, right? Because we're all kind of hardwired to prioritize it. And I mean, we can get as deep on this as you want to go. But after my first year or two of building a business, I started getting really stressed out because, like most service companies, when someone hires a lawyer, they're putting all of their stress on their lawyer's shoulders to carry. And I was really feeling that weight. Long story short, had a series of panic attacks and was in the hospital for a while. And the doctors identified that I have a very rare, basically allergy against most anti-anxiety medications. So the medicine that they were initially giving me for the panic attacks was only making it worse. So once they figured that out, they were able to shift some things. But during my outpatient care, they stressed, Joey, we hope that we never see you again. And we know you're a business owner, but we are very limited in our ability to treat you if you have panic attacks again. And so you have to do everything that you can to create a stress-free business for yourself. Source.
Yeah.
And all of that meant mindset. And I think one thing that's really helped me stay more grounded moving forward is shifting my idea from safety of like, oh, if I don't do these things, then I'll be safe, to no matter what, everything's going to be okay.
Yes, sir. That has to be at a deep level, right? And then the more you do it, it eventually becomes deep.
Yeah. And so much of that is just getting present, and instead of thinking about the past or the future, really staying present just in the moment and not worry about those things. One of my coaches likes to talk about when you're performing in business, are you doing it in a way where you're on the field or are you in the stands? You're on the field if you're staying present, if you're, a good athlete that is in the moment.
Yeah.
You're in the fields if you're thinking about what the play that just happened, or you're thinking about what's going to happen next. Yeah. And this goes all the way back to the entrepreneurs that are consuming content but not taking action.
Yeah.
Like those people are still on the stands instead of getting on the field.
Yeah. Well said.
And what's crazy about when you're on the field is it silences all of those concerns.
The more you're on the field. And, I can relate to you about the anxiety when COVID came to us. It caused a severe anxiety. My business fell apart and everything. So I had a panic attack like you, anxiety attack, a really serious one where I couldn't breathe. I mentioned on the show before, but I couldn't actually physically, I could not breathe. It felt like I was breathing through a straw, right? It was really difficult. So we called 911. I went with them. They took me to the hospital. They had the hazmat suits on. They were signing on. They had a walkway for me that thought I had COVID. And they did all the tests, and the doctor finally came back and said, nothing's wrong with you. You just had a severe anxiety. I started laughing. I go, what do you mean? I'm like really happy. There's nothing wrong. Everything is great. And then I had another breakdown. I started crying one day at home. I just started bawling, and something came within me to open the computer and type in mindset. Something drove me to do that. And ever since then, that something has been guiding me every step of the way. I hardly make, and this may seem very crazy to many people, but I hardly make thought-based decisions. They're mostly from that place that guided me to where I am today. It's that some people call it intuition, whatever, but for me, it was a very clear communication, not in words, but in feeling, to do this, and do that. And every step till this day, I'm doing that mostly. And the thoughts will come up and they trigger, oh, what if this will happen? All the fear-based stuff. But I put it to sleep, and then I go with what that area of me that is guiding me to do that. And, anxiety is definitely something that is part of the body, right? And for you to take that decision and start working on the source of it, the mindset, what your thought patterns and how you're feeling most of the time, being in the moment, not worrying about the future or the past, and just trying to be in the zone as much as possible makes a huge difference to anxiety. I haven't had any kind of situation like that. My mom passed away recently, everything. I couldn't even cry because I knew that it was normal. It's just a understanding. I guess you could say that the more you remain in the present moment, the more you become understanding for this reality and for this life, that the good and bad just start kind of molding into as one, as a neutral state, if that makes sense.
I love that. And I'm so happy for you, because that's the finish line. Yeah. People talk about different, that's revenue goals or whatever in business. Yeah. If you're mentally there, that's the win. And I would take those shoes over the shoes of any super high figure but constantly stressed person any day.
Same here. Yes, agree. So you've said, one of the first steps for business owners is recognizing that the business is separate from their worth as a human being, right? Was there a moment in your journey where you were taking every win and every issue, every challenge personally?
Yeah. And honestly, I think that continues to be a struggle, or something that I could kind of relearn at a different level and a deeper level.
Yeah.
It's really tough to really detach totally from it. And what's, I think now that I'm building a bigger team, it's less tied to, kind of purely business wins and losses, but like when a teammate does a really good job, kind of seeing my involvement leadership wise in the progress of that, is like, oh, like this is a cool win for me. And I think that one of the weird things because I do think it's important to celebrate your wins and to like receive those good things. One thing that I'm working on now is this idea of like playing the game hard, being a high performer, having a high level of integrity where you honor promises that you make to yourself, and you make bold promises to yourself of what you're going to do. And at the same time, it doesn't matter whether you get certain things or whether certain people say yes or no. And having this higher and higher level kind of duality of like high performance and high commitment with zero caring. That sounds bad, but it's super, super powerful. Of like, at the end of the day, nothing can happen so bad that is going to shake me.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. That's powerful. That is a super entrepreneur. It's what's going on internally. And that's the real passion behind this show, is to bring that realization to people that, wait a minute, listen, there's going to be ups and downs. How are you attending to the life that you've been granted? Like, how are you showing up in every moment, good or bad? And you have a team. How are they feeling around you when things go sideways? You could either make it really, really bad for them by the way you're behaving, or just feeling, even vibrationally, people pick up. You pick up when someone walks in a room, when someone's off. It's just, the more you become aware, the more you're in the moment, you start sensing that energy about other people, the environment. It's really amazing. It's just natural that all human beings have, but that's there for a reason, right? That's there for a reason. Yeah. And when we work on our internal world and we show up differently, we have an effect on everybody in our life that's involved with our business or family and friends as well, right? All 5 F's. I can't remember who said it, which book that was that I read, but it was the 5 family, faith, like trust, and fitness, financial, right? Those
I love that.
Yeah. So, before I let you go, if you lost everything in terms of your business, your team, your certification or bar, and all that stuff, if you had to start over again right now, what would you do to bring this lifestyle back?
That is all great questions. This is a great final question. I think going back to what we talked about with like trying to solve problems, I think I would create a personal brand where I am starting some type of a podcast, and I'm getting to know different business owners of different industries, so that I myself can learn, and then making myself available to just network with people especially. I really gravitate towards business owners. That's a type of person where I want to be able to help them with the problems that they're dealing with. And I think that there are always going to be business problems that get solved. One thing that I am really appreciating now is, and I mean this from purely a business owner standpoint, the easier you can tap into a rich niche, the quicker you can get that business up and running.
Yeah.
So one thing that I would try and keep laser-eyed on is, okay, based on these potential problems that I can solve and this network that I'm building, who is the most affluent group that I can serve out of these people? Because that will allow me to charge higher prices, serve them at a higher level, and start bringing on a team faster.
Yeah, well, Joey, we got to work together or something, figure out something after the show, Let's see. Yeah, because that's what I do. What you're talking about, that's what I do. Like this, just building relationships with good people. I have, obviously, you meet all sorts of people, right? So it's just, I'm very driven by the senses, not the 5 senses, but beyond. So those are my indicators. And I had a really, really great experience with you and talking to you about your business, what you are achieving, your values and your family and your business, all those things. They're wonderful. And I wish you all the success. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and definitely keep in touch.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.